Frenzies, welcome back to my channel. I'm so sorry about my voice and everything because I do not feel well. I have a cold, but we're gonna do this anyway. We're gonna push through it and we're gonna make a video. Yay! Okay, so a little bit of backstory to this video. Lately, I have been playing The Sims 3 a lot. I am in that like weird headspace where I want to play Sims every single day for like a year, and then I'm probably not going to touch it for like 6 years straight. So I've been playing a lot of that, and while I've been playing it, I finally stumbled upon, I feel like I'm super late to this party, I finally stumbled upon Claire Siobhan, who plays The Sims 4 on her YouTube channel and like makes stories around it. If you haven't watched it, please go check her out. She is amazing. Her Broken Dream House series is my absolute favorite. Abel is my boy. So I've been watching a lot of that while I've been playing The Sims 3, and in my head, I have like my own storylines for like the Sims 3 families I play, and then watching her tell stories and stuff. It reminded me so much. If any of you played The Sims 2, you were on The Sims 2 Exchange, because that's how you got all the custom content before The Sims Resource was a thing. And on the Exchange, people put up their stories all the time, and The Sims 2 stories, legacy challenges were like the most popular ones. They were always themed and like alphabetical, like Harry Potter, like this and that. I was actually like part of, oh my god, I don't even remember the website. I was part of like a really big community at the time when I like was playing The Sims 2 all the time, when it was really, really popular before the Sims 3 came out. And I was part of like a big community that I had a bunch of friends, and all of them did legacy challenges. We'd make our Sims selves and like put each other in like each other's stories. It was great. But it just really reminded me of how many stories and how many well-developed stories were made with The Sims 2. And then that reminded me of my favorite Sims 2 story, which you can still easily access on LiveJournal, by a user called What the Skell. I will link their Tumblr and their LiveJournal down below because you seriously need to check out this story. It's incredible. Before we get into the details of the story that What the Skell is making, The Sims 2. If you already play it, if you've already played it, you already know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't played it, here's a little bit of backstory. Obviously, when you play The Sims 2, you come into like pre-made neighborhoods, pre-made families, all that. Pleasant View had the best families. They were my favorite families, but I also hated one particular family that I'm about to mention, because at the time I was really young and I was like, meh, gold diggers, meh, homewreckers, I don't like them, I don't like that. Like, get over yourself. Girl was making her coin, okay? So Pleasant View had the Goth family, the Caliente family, and Don Lothario. He was by himself. He wasn't a family member. So the Caliente family was Nina and Dina Caliente. They were twin sisters? I believe they were twin sisters. They were twin sisters who had moved from Strangetown to Pleasant View. They are 1/3 or 1/4 alien, because their father or grandfather, I think their grandfather, had been abducted when he lived in Strangetown. Their description says, was it just a coincidence that the Caliente sisters arrived on the eve of Bella's disappearance, and is their interest in Mortimer physical or fiscal? So, again, if you haven't played The Sims 2, let me lay it out for you. Mortimer Goth and Bella Goth have been married for a long time. They were in The Sims 1. In The Sims 1, their daughter Cassandra was a child? Is she a child? Yeah, she's a child in The Sims 1. Mortimer and Bella have been married for a very long time. Bella in The Sims 2 is missing. Mortimer is an elder. Cassandra, her daughter, is an adult, and they have a young son named Alexander. Bella's not there. Bella's missing. It's a whole thing. Bella was last seen at Don Lothario's house in like the pictures you can find. I'll see if I can put them up here. In the pictures that the game provides you, she was last seen at Don Lothario's house, who was engaged to her daughter Cassandra. She is looking through a telescope in those pictures, which in The Sims 2 is the way that you get abducted by you. I mean, you can build up your logic skill, but it's how you get abducted by aliens in The Sims 2. A family in Strange Town is like a whole storyline with that. She's looking through the telescope, and Nina and Dina, as the description said, rolled into town the night she seemed to disappear, being 1/4 or 1/3 alien. Nina and Dina both have some kind of romantic relationship with Don Lothario. Dina is a fortune sim with the want to marry rich, or like, and see like the ghost of her rich spouse or whatever. And Nina is a romance sim who just wants to woohoo and have so many lovers and so. That's all the game gives you. The game doesn't really... I feel like The Sims 3 and probably The Sims 4 did it a little bit better. I haven't played The Sims 4, so I don't know. But The Sims 2 did a lot of good, like, groundwork for stories, and then very much left it up to you, the player, to do whatever you want with. Sims 3 kind of had a little bit more. Sims 3 had a little bit more, like, history and stuff, and different memories, and different, like, bios, and especially in World Adventures, they have, like, the land grab estate, and, like, all that stuff. But anyway, that's all The Sims 2 really gives you. And like I said, when I played The Sims 2 when I was young, I hated Nina and Dina because I thought they were gold diggers, and I thought they were awful and homewreckers, and just ruining everything. But, like, Don Lothario is also a romance sim, and he's garbage. Don Lothario is where I stopped trusting men. I was like 9, and I was like, nope, don't trust men. But yeah, I really didn't like them when I was younger. But then, What the Skell came into my life. I don't remember why. I think I found them on Tumblr first, and then went and read their live journal. I don't think I saw them on the Sims 2, like, exchange, gallery, whatever. I think it was all through Tumblr. And like I said, their Tumblr will be linked down below. What the Skell came into my life with their story called Fortune and Romance. And they centered it around Nina and Dina Caliente. The way The Sims works, there's like a weird timeline. It goes The Sims 3, The Sims 1, The Sims 2. And that's where the timeline is. What the Skell did with their story for Fortune and Romance is they made it their kind of idea of what a prequel to The Sims 2 would be. So, like, where everybody is in The Sims 2, how did we get there? And if you don't want spoilers for Fortune and Romance, just because, like, this video was meant to talk about Fortune and Romance, so if you don't want spoilers, if you want to read it yourself, in the link down below, I'll put a timestamp, like, here, maybe, so that you can skip to that time, so that you don't have to listen to me spoil things. But if you want to hear about it, stay here and don't go to the timestamp. Okay. So, Fortune and Romance starts with Nina and Dina as, like, young adults, late teens. They're, like, in that range. And it's them growing up. Nina still has her kind of relationship with Don Lothario, but it started when they were young, so it kind of is, like, built off now. It's more of, like, a friends with benefits thing. And Dina is just doing anything she can to make money. She's doing odd jobs. She's, you know, doing a bunch of stuff. But what the Skell did was they had Dina have a relationship with Michael Batchelor, which is Bella Goth's brother. And it's not for his money or anything, which when she was younger it kind of was, but now that she's older it's not. And she does genuinely care about him. He's like a poor school teacher. He lives on his own in, like, a little house. He doesn't live with Bella and her husband in their big nice mansion. He lives by himself, and he's just a little school teacher. And Nina ends up being with a servo robot. Do you guys remember servos from The Sims 2? Those are my favorite. I don't play with the Plumbots at all in The Sims 3. I like haven't at all, and I don't really want to. Servos are the OG robots. They're the only robots I'll ever trust. But she's with a servo that has, the way it's written, the way the story is written, he very much has, like, human capacity. He's not just, like, a regular robot. He, like, is basically human. That's how his creator made him. It plays with a lot of magic, it plays with witches, it plays with vampires, it plays with fairies, which weren't a thing in The Sims 2, but what the Skell was able to make it a thing where it's like super, like especially if you played the game, the way they write it, it's super, super believable. It's crazy. I'm not gonna say this name right. The Tricou, Tricou, Tricou family from The Sims 2. If you had The Sims 2 Nightlife, and you had that neighborhood, the House of Fallen Leaves, where that like family's buried with that like Raynell girl, that's a big part of the story too. The story is also kind of paused at a chapter right now just because, you know, people are adults and have things they need to do in life. And you can't always sit and edit your videos or edit your pictures and write your story because, like, things gotta get done, bills gotta get paid, which sucks, but it's true. So the story is paused at a chapter. But What the Skell holds so many different characters, and they've put them all into the story that's super believable. All of Spectre is in there with Nervous Subject, but he's like a toddler in the story, so his name's DJ. It's incredibly believable, especially when you look at it as this is what their idea was for a prequel to The Sims 2. If you played The Sims 2, especially like all the like kind of families that were like, especially the Caliente sisters and the Goths, if you played The Sims 2 and played those families and then you read this story, you can absolutely see that being like canon. You know what I mean? It's a whole thing. I feel like I had a lot more like eloquent things to say, but my throat is hurting and my voice is like real husky, and I bet I'm just not doing good. So I'm gonna wrap that up. But seriously, go check out Fortune and Romance. Even if you haven't played The Sims 2 and you have like no interest in The Sims games, it's just a beautifully written story. You should absolutely check it out. It blows my mind, and every time I get in like a weird writing funk, especially when I want to write things that are like mystical and magical, I always go back to Fortune and Romance and read through it because it is so well done. There's so many elements to it. There's so many different like plots that are all interwoven, but it's not confusing. I feel like a lot of times TV's books, whatever kind of story is being told, I feel like if they have too many plots intertwined, it's very, very confusing until, you know, the big reveal at the end where it's like, oh, well, like, point A and point C connected and, like, met up at F, and it's, you know what I mean? There's always, like, that big explanation at the end. There's still mysteries in Fortune and Romance. There's still a lot of things we don't know. There's still a lot of things we are not understanding, like, why that's happening, like, why did that character do this? But it's not in a frustrating and confusing way, at least in my opinion. I think it's in just a well-done storytelling way. It keeps you engaged enough without getting you frustrated. And that's good enough for me. So seriously, I don't know how many times I'm going to say it. Go check out the links down below. I will link What the Skell's Tumblr and LiveJournal. The LiveJournal is where you can get all the story. They have like a chapter indexed as their like first or second post on the LiveJournal. And the Tumblr just shows a lot of like custom content that they're working with, a lot of just like answering questions. There's character profiles somewhere on their blog. I'm not quite sure where, if there's like a link or something. There's character profiles, so if you do want like a little bit more background of each character, it's there, it's accessible, and that way you can kind of get an idea before you go into the story. So, seriously go check it out. It's phenomenal. And that's where I'm gonna leave you guys, because I can feel my nose dripping and my throat hurts, and I'm tired and I'm starting to overheat, so I'm gonna cut it off here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye! I'm dying. Help.